Hello everyone, today we are breaking down the episode 5 preview for The Last of Us. But before that, remember to like the video, it helps out the channel a lot, and subscribe, and yada yada yada, let's get to it. The first thing we see is the resistance group in the streets of Kansas City celebrating their victory over Fedra, overthrowing them. So Fedra runs all the QZs in America. Some believe Fedra is like a dictatorship on how they run things. It isn't how America used to be. That is why resistance groups pop up, such as the Fireflies. From the previous episode, we know this group is not associated with the Fireflies. This just happens to be a random group of people who were fed up with Fedra. We then see their leader, Kathleen. She is talking to a group of prisoners. She tells them, "Haven't you heard? Kansas City is free." So she is most likely talking to former Fedra officers or people who opposed the resistance and still want Fedra in charge. From the last episode, we know she is looking for Henry and Sam, who lived in the QZ in Kansas City. She believes Henry is responsible for her brother's death and wants revenge. She may be using these prisoners for information on Henry's whereabouts, tell us where he is and you can go free kind of deal. In the next shot, we see more celebration after they overthrew Fedra. We also hear Kathleen ask somebody where Henry is. And then we see a big military vehicle with a big spotlight on it, search for the man. We see that Kathleen is using her new power a little irresponsibly. You now lead the city, and she is solely focused on finding a man who may be responsible for her brother's death. And Henry didn't even directly kill him. She claims that Henry gave info to Fedra about her brother, which then got him locked up, where he was beaten to death while imprisoned. She should be focused on how things are going to be run now, food and supplies. She is wasting a lot of precious resources to find just one man, who literally does not want to take her down or anything. He just wants to leave the city with his brother Sam and move on. In the next shot, we see Sam and Henry. We find out that Sam is deaf, and that is why they are using sign language to communicate with one another. This is new. In the games, Sam was not deaf. We may get some time jumps in this episode as we did with episode 3 with Bill and Frank. We will probably get to see how the resistance overthrew Fedra and Henry and Sam escaping and hiding from Kathleen. This will then lead to where they first meet Joel and Ellie at the end of episode 4. In the next shot, we see Henry, Joel, Ellie, and Sam make their way through a building. At the end of episode 4, Joel and Ellie were sleeping when Henry and Sam snuck up on them. They had their guns drawn at the two. Joel must have told Henry their situation, and the two realized they could help each other. They both want the same thing, to get out of Kansas City. Henry knows the city a lot better than Joel, so it increases their odds of getting out alive. In the next shot, we see the group enter a building. The outside is painted with a bunch of random stuff. We know from the last episode Sam likes to paint, so I believe this is his handiwork. In the next shot, we see Ellie and Sam in a bedroom together, talking to one another on a chalkboard. So it seems Henry has trusted Joel and Ellie enough to take them to one of their safe houses as they make their plans for escaping. Probably the hallway we saw with all the paintings was the lead up to this. We hear a voiceover from Kathleen during this scene. She says, "He told me to forgive, but where is the justice in that?" So obviously someone told her to forgive Henry for what he did, but she can't. She believes he is responsible for her brother's death. But as I said before, she is making a mistake and should be focused on other things. In the next shot, we see a big explosion and Joel with a sniper rifle. Joel may have caused this explosion. They seem to have gotten the intention of the resistance group as well. So maybe they are trying to take a lot of them out or distract them. The reason I think these scenes correlate with one another is that Joel's face is lit up here by light and it is clearly dark out. The explosion is what did that. Also in the explosion still, we see Henry and Sam in the bottom left corner, and I believe we see Ellie just get out of the explosion radius on the ground here. So Joel is playing Overwatch while the other three are distractions. This is part of Joel and Henry's plan to escape Kansas City. In the next shot, we see Henry aiming a gun at somebody here. The man he is aiming at seems to have a flannel on, similar to the color Joel was wearing. Perhaps this is right after the two first met and Joel was able to disarm Sam and take him hostage. But as we saw, the two agree to work with one another after they found out their goals align. In the next shot, we see Henry, Sam, and Ellie get chased down by a truck, so this may be before the big explosion. It is the lead up to it, getting the resistance group to the trap. In the next shot, we see Kathleen point her gun at something here, but we see that Henry is behind her. He actually gave himself up to her, as we see in this shot here. So what could she be aiming at that is more important than the person she blames for her brother's death? We then find out it is a bloater. And we see a bunch of clickers in the background as well. Bloaters are the last stage of infection. They are completely covered in fungus. They really don't even look human at this point. Like the clickers, they have increased strength, so meeting a bloater up close and personal is a bad idea. The fungus that has grown on their bodies almost acts like armor, so they can take multiple gunshots and keep going. Like clickers, they rely on echolocation, making a clicking noise to find their prey. The only good thing about bloaters is they are rather slow. So in theory, you could outrun one. Joel is telling Ellie to run. He knows that even with a sniper, it will take multiple shots to kill a bloater. I wonder if this was part of their plan, if they knew these infected were in the house or not. This episode looks very action-packed, and we get it early on Friday because of the Super Bowl, so I'm pretty excited. So what did you think? Leave it down in the comments below, and if you want more Last of Us content, please subscribe and like the video. Check out the Twitter link in the description below, and as always, have an awesome day.